In a world teetering on the edge of chaos, where missiles streak across the skies and the words of the powerful strike as fiercely as bombs, the G7 summit in Kananaskis, Canada in June 2025 has transformed into an arena where egos clash and the fates of nations hang in the balance. At the heart of this geopolitical storm, a drama unfolds. Emmanuel Macron, the French president, finds himself targeted by the scathing attacks of Donald Trump, the American president, whose venomous barbs resonate like artillery fire on the global stage. This is not merely a personal feud, but a symptom of a deeper rift among Western powers as the conflict between Israel and Iran threatens to set the Middle East ablaze. In this chaos, where Israeli fighter jets reign supreme over Tehran's skies and the words of world leaders carry as much weight as their arsenals, the future of the region and global diplomacy wavers. Hey, it's Carlos. I hope you're doing great. Subscribe to this YouTube channel to stay updated on all the latest economic and political news in just a few minutes a day. The precise issue at the core of this crisis stems from a public spat between Trump and Macron during the G7 summit on June 17, 2025. In a fiery post on Truth Social, Trump lambasted Macron, accusing him of being always in search of publicity and never understanding anything regarding a supposed American mediation for a ceasefire between Israel and Iran. According to Le Figaro, Trump was incensed by Macron's suggestion that he had left the summit early to negotiate such a deal, a claim Trump vehemently denied. This attack is not an isolated incident. Since 2017, the relationship between the two leaders has oscillated between attempts at diplomatic charm and open confrontation. From their first meeting, marked by a famously firm handshake, their differences were palpable. Trump, with his brash and provocative style, has never hesitated to mock Macron, even calling him in October 2024, "a guy who'd rob you blind if you weren't careful." Macron, in contrast, has consistently advocated for a more measured approach, seeking to embody a voice of reason, but this stance seems only to further irritate his American counterpart. This clash, though personal in tone, reflects profound strategic divergences, as highlighted by Le Monde. At the G7, discussions expose fractures on critical issues: the handling of the Israel-Iran conflict, support for Ukraine against Russia, and global trade tensions. Trump, true to his America First doctrine, adopts a hardline stance, demanding Iran's unconditional surrender and unequivocally backing Israel's military operations. Macron, however, warns of the catastrophic consequences of military escalation, stating that a regime change in Iran through war would plunge the country into chaos. This divide is not new. As early as 2019, Trump labeled Macron's positions on taxing tech giants and the Iran nuclear deal as stupidity. Macron, with his composed demeanor, responded during a June 17th press conference, calling the incident a minor episode and stating he was not moved by Trump's attacks, which he attributed to knowing his counterpart well per 20 minutes. This almost stoic restraint contrasts sharply with Trump's flamboyance, but fails to quell the tensions. Beyond this verbal joust, the true driver of this crisis is the escalating conflict between Israel and Iran, which has reached alarming proportions. Since June 13, 2025, the Israeli Air Force, IAF, has launched an unprecedented offensive against the Islamic Republic, targeting strategic infrastructure in Tehran and beyond. According to Le Parisien, Israeli fighter jets dominate Iran's skies with impunity, striking daily from 1,500 kilometers away without facing significant resistance. The Rising Lion operation, detailed by Le Monde, has hit uranium centrifuge production sites and weapons factories in Tehran, crippling Iran's ballistic capabilities. With 316 modern combat aircraft, the IAF vastly outmatches Iran's Air Force, which operates 136 outdated fighters, per the International Institute for Strategic Studies. Israeli pilots, stunned by the absence of dogfights over Tehran, reported a complete failure of Iran's air defenses, despite Tehran's claims of downing an Israeli drone. This military imbalance stems from a series of calculated Israeli strikes. In April 2024, an Israeli attack on an Iranian consular building killed several Revolutionary Guard officers, marking the start of direct confrontation. Iran retaliated on April 13th with a massive barrage of drones and missiles, but most were intercepted by Israel's defenses. In response, Israel destroyed an S-300 anti-aircraft battery near the nuclear sites of Isfahan and Natanz, sending a clear message: no target in Iran is out of reach. Since then, the June 2025 offensive has intensified pressure pressure, with strikes aimed at neutralizing Iran's nuclear program, particularly the underground Fordo site. Only the American GBU-57 bomb, capable of penetrating 60 meters underground, could destroy this facility, underscoring Israel's reliance on its US ally. Iran, weakened, struggles to respond. According to Le Monde's live coverage, the Revolutionary Guards claimed to have fired hypersonic missiles at Israel on the night of June 17 and 18, but their impact remains uncertain. Iran's missile stocks, estimated at 2,000 to 4,000, have been severely depleted by Israeli strikes, leaving only 600-700 capable of reaching Israel, per Pierre Razou of the Mediterranean Foundation for Strategic Studies. Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei vowed a relentless response, declaring on X that the battle has begun and that no mercy would be shown to Israel. Yet, Iran is increasingly isolated. Its axis of resistance allies, like Hezbollah and Hamas, are weakened, and post-Assad Syria is no longer a reliable partner. Internet restrictions in Iran, which slashed traffic by 75% on June 17, aim to control internal dissent but betray the regime's fragility. The consequences of this crisis are staggering. Regionally, the conflict risks engulfing the Middle East, already scarred by wars in Gaza and Lebanon. Mass evacuations of foreign nationals, 791 Chinese, 105 Greeks and others from Europe and Asia, signal widespread fear of escalation. The US Embassy's closure in Jerusalem until June 20th and the evacuation of Russian diplomats' families underscore growing instability. In Iran, the human toll mounts, at least 585 dead and 1,326 injured per human rights activists, though Tehran downplays the losses. Internationally, the rift between Trump and Macron undermines Western cohesion. While Trump backs Israel and hints at US military intervention, Macron and other Europeans like Kaja Kallas call for de-escalation. China, through Xi Jinping, opposes any violation of Iran's sovereignty, while Russia, discredited by its Ukraine war, lacks the credibility to mediate. This crisis lays bare the limits of diplomacy in a polarized world. Trump's impulsive style risks pushing the region toward an uncontrollable conflict. Macron's call for restraint embodies a Europe striving to avert disaster but struggling to wield influence against the Israeli-American military juggernaut. Israel's strikes, tactically brilliant, test the boundaries of strategic audacity. Dismantling Iran's nuclear program could stabilize the region short-term, but a humiliated Iran might retaliate through cyber attacks or proxies like Yemen's Houthis. In conclusion, the 2025 G7 summit will be remembered as a pivotal moment where personal feuds between leaders amplified the tensions of an already explosive conflict. Macron, under Trump's fire, strives to maintain balance, but Israel's military dominance and America's intransigence narrow diplomatic options. The Middle East, once again a theater of war, is a powder keg where a single spark, a missile, a statement, a miscalculation could ignite catastrophe. Stay tuned, as every passing hour could reshape the global map or plunge it into the abyss.